One thing about me is that I'm an animal lover, and so is everyone. Everyone loves animals, and if you don't love every animal, then you at least have one silly little guy that you love. We keep them as pets. We pay a stupid amount of money to watch the little creatures laze around in zoos. And if you get a message from your grandma on Facebook, then you can bet your bottom dollar it's a stupid little cat video, which is probably AI generated. Lots of parts of human life is closely tied to animals. Ever since we decided to stop being monkeys, we've been hunting them, farming them, raising them, you name it. You know what else we've been doing since the beginning? Wear clothes! When we lost all of our fur, we had to stay warm somehow. So we just stole the fur from animals. And then we progressed from a crumpled up piece of tiger fur as a full body shawl, to simple robes, to fancy royal dresses, to cute little flapper outfits, to mod fashionable slip dresses, to groovy bell bottoms, to fashionable streetwear, to dresses over jeans, to leather jackets and skinny tights. And now, finally, we arrive at this. Shein Microtrend Final Boss. Don't get me wrong, I love fashion today, and I think the wide range of self-expression and identity through clothes is really something to admire. You can dress however you want today. There is such a huge range of subcultures, and they are also thought out and defined. It really inspired me to make a video. Now, why did the focus shift from animals to fashion, you might ask? Well, if you saw my post maybe a month ago, I don't know. You already know what this video is about. I asked my followers over at Instagram and here to give me an animal and a fashion aesthetic to go with it. I would then design a character off of it and base a story off the 5 girls. There were so many cool ideas, and if I didn't get to yours, don't think it wasn't any good. I loved each and every one of the suggestions. They were so creative and cool. I wish I had just all the time in the world to do all of these. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Let's move on to the first character, shall we? Goth and sheep. This combo was so interesting. I don't know why, but it makes such perfect sense to me. Maybe because of that one Animal Crossing character. I didn't really know how to incorporate the animal bits without her looking like a furry, but I gave her big curly hair, a bigger nose, and I imagine she has hooves on her shoes. Her ankles are killing her every single day. I decided to call her Ramona, spelled with a capital R and a capital O, just because she's that extra on the sheep theme. Anyway, Ramona is our main girl. She is your quintessential quiet goth girl with weird hobbies and crazy lore. She worked on a farm when she was younger, and her most favorite is obviously sheep. She also has always struggled with clinical depression, and spending time with her dear sheep always managed to make every day just a little bit easier. Both of these factors sparked her interest in psychology and biology. She went to the most renowned university in her town to study psychology, only to find the school was a shithole. The budgeting was terrible and the rules were so incredibly strict. The dress code prohibited any students from being themselves. That included alternative fashion, revealing clothes, piercings, tattoos, putting your hair up. You always needed to be in uniform and always needed to look your best. Obviously, Ramona hated this and made it her mission to bring self-expression and fashion back to this bleak, sad beige baby looking school. The psychology class was alright. None of the students took out to her, but at least the study was interesting. However, biology was the least funded class in the school. Only 5 students took biology class, and the classroom was the smallest, most run down in the school. Despite the terrible starting point, Ramona found out quickly she had landed in the best possible class for her mission. 5 girls who more than anything wished to go to school decked out in their own unique style. Even though they were very different, as soon as Ramona brought them her idea, they agreed. The plan was as follows. Start a school fashion magazine promoting personal style and self-expression, while also promoting the biology class and crowdfunding for a bigger budget. It was perfect. I hope the little story blurb was interesting. I first had some crazy concepts with ghosts and a haunted school and stuff, but it seemed too Monster High or Ever After High for my comfort. So a cute little fashion story seemed perfect. Anyway, here's our girl Ramona. I love her so much. She's so cool. Her role in that magazine is obviously the founder, and her and everyone else model for the pictures. She produces the magazine and is the one distributing it around school sneakily, so the teachers don't see. Coquette, Dolphin. This pair was suggested by my very dear friend Nini. Shout out to her because their art is so stunning. Check it out or the timeline will be forever changed. When I first saw this combo, I had only one thought in my head. You know Stella's hairstyle from Winx? The ponytail thingy with multiple hairbands? What if, and stay with me here, I make the ponytails the shape of the dolphin tail? I felt like a genius for this, so obviously I took it and ran. I only remember the hairstyle so well because I remember as a kid being so irrationally angry at her hair. I decided to name this girl Dolly. Dolly is the popular girl in class. She often gets in trouble at school for her attempts at expressing her coquette style through her school uniform. She gets dress coded every day, especially for her hairstyle. She has a personal vendetta against every teacher and authority figure at the school, and that made it so Ramona reached out to her first. They were in the same English class, and Ramona had watched her get dress coded every day. Ramona didn't even have to finish her sentence before Dolly agreed. She was that ready to take the dress code down. For her personality, I'm taking out my love for sharks and my complicated relationship to dolphins on her. Sorry, Dolly. Like I said, Dolly is the classic, pretty, popular rich girl in class. She loves makeup and boys and shopping, and she just seems like a carbon copy of the dumb friend in every single mean girl trio in a high school movie. But she's actually extremely smart. She just acts dumb and ditzy for attention and sympathy. She loves biology and marine life, and her favorite hobby is scuba diving. Her role in the magazine is writing the little blurbs of semi-educational text and obviously modeling, just like the rest. She definitely loves her job, but she goes by an undercover alias when writing, just because of how dedicated she is to keeping this persona of being dumb and clueless. Her biggest flaw is self-sabotage. She never talks about why she doesn't want to take credit or why she doesn't want people to know how smart she is. But it is apparent when you get to know her that this girl is a genius, and it's so frustrating knowing she has the power and knowledge to do world-changing things, but she throws that away for seemingly no reason. She keeps up this facade of being an airhead damsel in distress just because she likes the feeling of outsmarting the people around her. Throughout the story, I imagine she'd slowly learn how to show her true self, and her grades would actually start to match her smarts for a change. She also may or may not stop hanging around those boys because someone else catches her eye. Here she is! She definitely is the most hated and loved person in her classes. They live for her until she pulls out that, "Oh my god, Jake, you're so annoying. Stop, don't take my phone. You're just doing this to me because I'm so short and tiny. You're so mean." Meanwhile, Jake is like a combo of a skater boy and a mouse, so she's double his height. Raccoon and Scene. For this character here, I went with the name Bandit. Bandy or Brandy. For short. Bandit struggles a lot with her appearance. When she's out partying, she loves dressing in a scene queen style and hiding her face behind a huge hairstyle and heavy makeup. She feels like a completely different person, and that's the best feeling she gets. At school, however, she always feels terrible. Her hair has to be straight and down, and her uniform doesn't fit her how she wished it did. She just wishes she could bring at least some of the elements of her style into school. She stays quiet in most classes she's in. She used to get bullied really badly because of her personality and interest in high school and middle school, and she knows she'd get bullied again if she showed her real self. Bandit still loves the things she did as a kid, and she still feels completely like that little girl at heart. When Bandy meets Ramona and Dolly, she's very intimidated and scared at first. Ramona was so cool and mature, and she already had history with Dolly from high school, so she only agreed to the magazine to try and score some points with them. She barely even listened to the request. Her role in the magazine is editing the pictures. She loves seeing the girls' reaction to how little she changes about their pictures, and it's a space where she can incorporate the visuals and aesthetics she loves. However, she can barely recognize herself when she edits her own pictures. Ramona always tells her to do the same few steps she does with the other pictures, but she always ends up overdoing it. I think her story would be so heartwarming. Imagine her posting her first raw, unedited picture of herself, or winning a fashion contest, or people coming to her for advice, or wanting to be more like her. I just love her so much. So, here she is! Her personality is a quiet, stuttering mess in the first 10 minutes, but after that, it's just full on, I'm so random, XD. Ramona and Dolly definitely love her for it and make sure she knows it. They think it's such a breath of fresh air into their group. Grunge and Fennec Fox. I named this girl Ashlyn. It just felt grunge to me, I don't know. I also completely decked her out in tattoos and piercings. She has to come from money because how did this college student afford to cover her body in tattoos? She's like a walking flex at this point. Obviously, she hates the dress code at the school. She pulls her uniform sleeves up and she never takes the piercings out as the biggest fuck you to the school. Her clothing style wouldn't even really be a problem if they didn't have any uniforms, but everything else just boils the principal's blood. She has a very chill, rebellious personality. She has broken nearly every rule in the book and she loves to boast about it. She was introduced to the magazine by Bandit, one of her closest friends from high school. Ashlyn at first was completely disinterested in the magazine. She thought it was too tame and boring of a solution for the problem. And she also didn't want to be in the magazine with Dolly, since Dolly bullied her and Bandit in school. But once Ramona offered her the job of photographer, she immediately agreed. One thing Ashlyn never tells to others is her huge love for photography and cinematography. She is a huge film bro and an absolute nerd dork for cameras. Her personality changes so badly as soon as someone asks her about her favorite movie or if she can take a picture for their story or something. Her voice turns all high-pitched and she geeks out like a little girl. Dolly had this beast of a camera gifted to her by her rich dad. So Ashlyn would rather die than say no to that job. Her and Dolly have a very interesting dynamic. They both want and need the same thing, and they could benefit hugely off talking to each other and listening to their own advice together. But they both despise each other, since Dolly bullied her in high school and Ash would always return the favor by pulling a prank on her or framing her for something she didn't do to the teachers and get her in trouble. Ash's story would rely heavily on acceptance, similar to Dolly. They marry each other in that way. Ash learns to let go of this bad girl persona, which she really just used to seem cool and not the geek everyone thought she was in middle school. She loves that part of her, but she needs to stop kidding herself. She even chose forensic science instead of photography for her major, since she freaked herself out about seeing edgy and cool. She swaps majors next year and is way more happier there. Here she is! If I was stupid and uneducated about piercings, I'd make some stupid jokes about metal detectors or TSA at airports right now. I love her. She looks so awesome and spiky and punk, and I need to see her and Dolly finally work it out on the remix and become best friends. Cottagecore and Owl, our final girl of the batch. And this suggestion was really so cool. They suggested specifically a piebald owl, which is so perfectly specific and cool. I love it. Please be so specific when you suggest things. Guys, I love it to death. I haven't really thought about cottagecore in a while. I just know it was popular in 2020, but I never really delved into it. I still love it though. For our little owl girl, I decided for the name Olivia, or Olive for a nickname. It's just too cute and cozy and cottagey to not pick it. Olive has really struggled all her life with her size. She has always been the shortest in the class or mistaken for someone's little sister when she's out with her friends. She has never really had a school uniform that fit her right, and she wishes the school would be more inclusive in size in both ends. I'm very happy with myself for how her hair and face came out. I gave her vitiligo and piebaldism since piebald owl. And I gave her a little widow's peak to simulate the barn owl feather pattern. She looks so cute and silly. I love her so much. Olive really doesn't have many friends. She only really cares to talk about animals and plants and medieval times since it's her special interest. And a lot of people think she's creepy or too childish. She doesn't really mind though. She prefers to spend her days at home watching a documentary and sewing her own cute outfits. When the girls approach her to join the fashion magazine, she agrees immediately. Mostly because she looks up to the girls in the magazine, but also because she would love to see them decked out in her own custom-made outfits on the covers. She loves the job of the designer, but she loves modeling and wearing clothes that fit her height and style right after spending a day in and day out in ugly school uniforms that are too big. Here she is! She came out so cute. Later in the story, she would come out of her shell more and allow herself to take more space in her classes and with other people. So what if people think she's weird? All that matters is that her friends don't. And who in this room is working on the sensational school magazine? Only her. Also, this is so random, but I know Olive has a freaky little unusual pet. Please give me pet suggestions in the comments. I need to give her a little critter. I thought I'd do something a little different for the end of the video this time and draw a piece with all the characters while I wrap this video up in a neat little bow. If it wasn't clear, they all met through their love of biology and animals. And they all wanted to make a difference in the rules at school and the resources they have access to in the biology subject. As the magazine grows bigger in popularity, many students would switch into biology after learning about how cool it is, which would force the school to expand the budget. And sooner or later, the school would have way too much trouble keeping up with monitoring the students' outfits and dress coding people. So they'd give up and people would be free to dress however they want. The more people added to biology class opens up more room for more side characters, so I will definitely revisit this story and add the old suggestions back in. If you have any good ideas, please suggest them in the comments. I definitely plan on indulging more in these silly little... Their group would start out with a lot of problems early on, with Ash and Dolly bickering and fighting, Bandit and Olive too shy to really talk, and Ramona getting impatient and wanting to rush her plans as fast as possible. They would end up calling off the magazine so many times before rejoining and starting up again. It would be really fun to see them slowly mold into the perfect group they are now, once they learn each other's strengths and boundaries and create a balance in the way the magazine works. In the piece I'm drawing now, I drew them all in in the first quarter of the story. I wanted like a slumber party scene, so I could give them all very cute pajama designs. I wanted to create a sort of feeling of chaos while representing the faults in the group early on. Ashlyn really only sticks with Bandit and distances herself from the group. Meanwhile, Olive doesn't really take it seriously and creates more problems than she fixes. Dolly wishes everyone would treat it like a real job so they'd actually create change, and Ramona is still plagued by the voices in her head. Her plan blowing up in her face really strengthens this feeling that she's not good enough or important enough, which makes it really hard to keep the group and work moral together. She finds it hard to keep showing up to school and to the scheduled meetings for the magazine. Once she opens up about her depression, things really take a turn, and they all put more care into making the group work. I hope that wasn't too much yapping about stories and character arcs. Let's take a look at the finished pieces. I wanted to do something different for this video. Up until now, I've only really done redesigns and taking existing character roles into my head with the Inside Out series. I wanted to build a story from the ground up and test my character writing limits. I also have really enjoyed collaborating with my audience for small character details and ideas for character designs up until now, and I really intend to continue. If you watched this far, thank you so much. I hope this video is well received since I really want to do more character writing. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you guys want to see more of these guys. And as always, don't worry, I'm not even bleeding. Wait.